Hey folks, welcome back. So in the last video we have added the post API endpoint, and in this video we will be adding put and delete API endpoints. So let's go back to VS Code and get started. Okay, so currently we have added create course, so which is these are the requirements that we had and we implemented that. So now we need to implement the second API endpoint, which is used to update the course by course name. So for that, these are the requirements. So the request method is put, and the path parameter is course name. So we use course name to get the course from the DB, and we will update the record. So these are the two fields that we receive from the user, that is description and price. So these are the constraints on it. So the description is optional and the max length of 500 characters, and price is also optional, and maximum price is 1000. So let's get started with this API endpoint first. Let's go to main.py file and add the put route app.put, and let's define courses, and we expect course name to be sent as a path param. Let's give the name as update course, which expects the path param course name, which is string, and okay, let's use this path param, this. And we also expect the body, which is pydantic model course update model. So we haven't written that yet. Let's go to schemas.py and write that. Class course update model, we need to inherit base model, and then the two fields that we have, description and price, both are optional. Let's copy these two fields here, make it correct indent, and these two are optional, so we need to make those two fields as optional. So let's import optional from typing module and make it optional. So now we have the pydantic model to be used for put request. Let's go here, and we need to import that from schemas, import course update model. We are using that model here, and okay, let's make this beautiful, because the line length is more than 78 characters. That's the reason it's showing red marks here. Let's save this. Okay, now we have the model, and the other requirement that we have is so we need to throw the 404 error if the course is not found. Let's get the course first. Course equals to get course from DB, and we need to pass the course name. So now we have the course, so it returns course, and if the course is not there, it will return none. So if the none is returned, it means the course is not exist in the DB. So in that case, we need to throw the 404 error. So if the course is none, and then we need to raise HTTP exception with status code 404 and detail not found. So now we satisfied this requirement, and now we need to update the 200. As we defined, these both fields are optional, so we need to update on only when these two fields are, if description is present, and then we need to update the description. If the price is there, and then we need to update the price. So let's do that. Update the course if model dot description is not none, and then we need to update the course description equals to model dot description, and if model dot price is not none, then we need to update price as well. Course of price equals to price. Oh, not actually price, it's a model dot price. So now we updated. Now we need to return the course back. Yep, now we have this. Okay, why it's showing red mark? Yeah, let's ignore it for now. And okay, so we can see that non-default argument follows default argument. Yeah, that's the reason it's showing the red mark. Fine, let's move this up. Now it will go. Let's go back, and we can see that the server is restarted. Let's clear and restart the server again. So now the server is restarted. Let's go back to the browser and refresh the docs. So now we have the put API endpoint, and we can try all the requirements that we have. So let's try the first one. Let's try for 404. So if we go back to VS Code, let's go to requirements. So here we have the 404. So let's go to DB first, and here we have Python, Go, JavaScript, and Java. Let's try to pass the name which is not in the DB. Let's go back to browser again and pass new, and let's try this out. So we are expecting 404, and we can see that 404 status and detail is not found. So our requirement is satisfied. Now let's try for the 422. Let's try to pass 9000 here, and change the course name to existing course, which is Python, and let's try to execute it. We can see that the 422 response, so it's validating the data, and it's saying that the max value is 1000. That is also satisfied. And let's try for the actual data. So Python, and I want to update the description to Python is my first programming language, and change the price to 600, and execute it. So now when we execute it, it should return the 200 response back, because we have the valid Python course name which is in the DB, and we are passing the correct data. So the description length is less than 500 characters, and the price is below 1000. Let's execute it. We can see that Python is my first language. The description is updated, and we have the price of 600. Let's try to retrieve the same price, same course with get request. I mean get API endpoint. Let's try to pass the Python course here, and we should see the same response as before. So yeah, we can see that Python is my first programming language, and the price is 600. Let's try to change it to 900, and let's change this back to Python is awesome. Let's execute it. So we can see that 200 response and the data updated. Let's go back to the retrieve API endpoint, and we have that. Let's execute it again. We can see that Python is awesome, which is updated, and price is 900. So we fulfilled all the requirements for the put API endpoint. Let's implement the delete. Now let's go back to VS Code. Um, let's see the requirements for delete. So for this delete, we need to pass the course name, and the method is delete, the request method, and the path parameter that expects is course name. So we will find a course by course name, and we will be deleting that. So if the course is not found, we should return 404. If the course is found, and then we need to delete and return 204 response back. So let's implement that. Let's go to main.py and add app.delete, and we need to pass courses, and then we need to use the course name as path param course name. Let's give the function name as delete course, which expects course name, which is a string, and this is a path param. Let's pass this, and yeah, only expects that. Now we need to find the record in the DB, and we need to delete it. Let's use this code. So now we are retrieving the get course by course name, and if the course is not found, and then we are throwing the 404, which will satisfy this requirement. So now we need to implement the requirement for this 204. So now we have the course, and we need to delete it from the DB, so which is a list, that is DB courses. So as that is a list, we need to find the index, and then we need to remove the index from the actual list. So let's try to find the index first. Delete course from DB. Let's find the object index equals to db courses dot index of the course, so which will give us the index of the course in db courses. So now we will be deleting that. Let's use pop db courses dot pop, so which expects the index. So we can see that if we pass the index, that will return the that will delete the element and return it. Let's pass the obj index, and now that object is deleted from the db courses, and we need to return none. So we need to return the status code as 204 if it's a successful response. And we can see that so by default FastAPI uses JSON response class. So for this delete API endpoint, we need to use the response, because if we use JSON response, the default response class, that will return this as a null text. So by default, when we return the 204, the content should be empty. The response body should be empty. So let's import the response here from FastAPI. Let's import the response. Let's copy that class, and we need to use the response class equals to response. When we do this and save that, let's restart the server. Okay, our server is restarted now. Let's go back to browser and refresh the docs. So now we can see that the delete API endpoint here. So let's try to retrieve all available courses that we have. Let's try it out and execute it. So we can see that we have Python, Go, JavaScript, and Java. So let's try to delete Python from the courses. Let's try it out and pass the course name Python, and let's execute it. So now we can see that 204 response, there is no content returned, and that is expected. Now let's try to use the all get list of courses endpoint, and let's try to execute that back, and we can see that we have only three what we call three objects in the DB, that is Go, JavaScript, and Java. Let's try to delete one more. Let's delete Java. Let's pass Java and execute it. So we got the 204 response again, and let's try to execute the first API endpoint, that is the list courses. Let's try to execute that. We got 200 response, and we can see only two objects in here. So let's try to pass the let's try to test for 404 response code. Java is already deleted, so let's try to pass the Java again. So now it should throw the 404 response. Let's execute it. Now we can see that we got the 404 status code, and the detail is not found. So this is how we implement the put and delete API endpoints in FastAPI. Thank you.